All right. All right. Oh man. All right. Thank the Lord, y'all. Thank the Lord. As you can see, the Rams were victorious against the week 2 opponent, the Atlanta Falcons. Game was played in LA. We won with a final score of 31-27. It was a game that started out pretty good. There was a lot of good stuff to talk about. I was doing backflips internally. I watched the Jaguars shut out the Colts. Then went, came back and was thinking, okay, we're gonna see the Rams bounce back. That's exactly what they did. They look good. We're blowing out the Falcons, but then in typical Ram fashion, as they tend to do sometimes, they let the Falcons come back into this and made it a game in the fourth quarter, but we were able to etch it out 31-27. And man, oh man, I mean, there's a few things to talk about here. So let's go ahead and get started. So following our blowout loss to the Bills last week, there was a few questions about how the Rams would actually respond this week against the Falcons. It was a game I think most everyone thought we were going to win. The Falcons themselves were not very good last year, and it was widely believed that we would probably dominate them and have an easy time with them. But last week they showed they looked like a pretty good team. They kind of they came back against the Saints, but ultimately lost that one. So, but still, we felt like we could get them. But there was a little bit of worry. I was a little bit of worried because the Falcons tend to be built like a team that could beat us. They're very physical, very ground and pound. And I just felt I was really curious to see how the Rams would respond, essentially. And I got to tell you, starting off the game, the Rams, it could not have started off better for the Rams. I thought, we kicked it off. We went on defense. I thought the defense looked solid. We were solid against the run. Cordell Patterson was a concern. Mariota kind of breaking it off and running was a concern. But for the most part, we were able to keep them in check. You know, we we I don't think it was a three. No, it wasn't a three and out. It was actually a lot of bend don't break deep. And here's the thing, I'm not too thrilled with Raheem Morris right now, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later, but not really too thrilled with him or in how he calls the defense. I'm really not. So I'll get into that here in a little bit, but ultimately, the Falcons were able to actually move the ball up and down the field on us, and got into the red zone, and they got there with relative ease. That's when I was like, oh Lord, here we go. But to the Rams' credit, they tightened things up, stopped them. They went for a field goal. They actually missed. All right. So the game starts, and the Falcons actually miss a field goal. And I'm like, okay, look at that. The Falcons, the Falcons really wanted to do what they did in the first drive throughout the game, and they held onto the ball a lot. They moved the ball efficiently, much like the Bills did, and held on to it for a long time. But then they just couldn't get into the end zone, and then they missed the field goal. And then afterwards, the Rams went on offense, and I gotta say, I'm very, very pleased with what Sean has done with the offense. I was pleased with the play calling. I thought Sean showed a bunch of variety. He switched things up. He wasn't always in the 11 personnel set. We finally got to see two backs in the backfield. A little bit of the fullback set, the I formation, which I loved. They actually had Darrell Henderson starting at running back and wide receiver Ben Schwarnick as the as like the blocking back, which I thought was curious, but I was all for it because Swarnick is actually a pretty physical player, and he's good at blocking, so I was all for it. I was like, okay, I like this, and we got to see a little creativity. We got to see Swarnick. Swarnick was a big part of it in the beginning. Like he would line up in the first back set, and then he would kind of go out for a pass. He caught some passes. I thought Daryl looked really good. He ran well. Unfortunately, we had some injuries on the O line, and as a result, we had the two big issues on the O line was Coleman Shelton taking over for Brian Allen, which I was not worried about, and it looks like he might actually be a better option. I actually want him to stay at center. And then we have the replacement for Coleman at right guard, and and that was going to be Tremaine Ankrum. Okay, out of Clemson, I was actually pretty excited to watch him play. I was curious to see if he was good or not. I kept having this feeling that he would play well. So I wanted to see what he was all about. But ultimately, unfortunately, he lasted all about 3 plays. 3 plays. And that kind of sucked, man. So he actually had to get carted off. And I was trying to look and see who it was. And from what I saw, I think it was Alaric Jackson. Alaric Jackson, who was our backup tackle, was the guy who filled in at that right guard spot when Tremaine Ankrum got hurt and had to get carted off. So now it's kind of hectic. We're like, oh man, we have Coleman, we have AJ. How is this going to work? How is our O-line going to look? It's a little concerning what's happening right now. And I got to say, I was pleased. Dude, I was pleased with the O-line. I really was for the first half. They looked like they got dominated pretty bad last week, but even with the new substitutions, dude, like I'm like, let's keep them in there, dude. I mean, they look good. So ultimately, they helped the Rams go down the field and score. The creativity of the play calling was great. The executions. Matthew started on fire. He was like 12 for 12. He was distributing the ball. I really like how they were spreading the ball around. One of the criticisms of the team last week was that we were kind of relying on Cooper Kupp. Matthew was getting a little bit of tunnel vision. Okay? He was getting a little bit of tunnel vision. It looked like he was kind of looking to get a little too reliant on Cooper Kupp, which Cooper Kupp also showed in this game. And I don't even care about the fumble, which we'll talk about here in a second. Cooper Kupp is like one of the best players in the league. Like, he is probably the best receiver in the league, no joke. And I know I'm a Rams fan, obviously, but dude, like, with that being said, I really don't see anyone else that's even as close as Cooper Kupp is. There isn't anyone who is as valuable to their team as Cooper Kupp is. He is so valuable, and thank God for Cooper Kupp, because he bailed us out on so many situations in this game, dude. And he's making toe tapping catches, diving catches. He's like fighting for extra yards. This dude is blocking like no one's business. Like Darrell Henderson, like on our second score, Kupp like blasted a dude. Like he like completely like smacked him, like smacked this. I forget who it was. It might have been a linebacker, but Kupp blocks him, and Henderson goes in for our like second touchdown, and it was incredible. He was playing well. The Schwarnick was making the catches. Powell, I think, maybe had one or two. And they were, and here's the thing. Here's one of the themes of this video. They were running the football. Okay, they had Cam Akers in there, and they were running the football. They were keeping it balanced. throughout the first half, the Falcons didn't know what the hell to do. Okay. I thought they played phenomenal. It was one of the best starts that you could possibly have in a football game. And very, very proud of the team. And Sean came in ready. Really much like the play calling. Like I said, I love the execution of the O line. I love the execution of the quarterback, the receivers, the in the balanced attack with the running attack. Okay. All right. Now I want to move to the defense a little bit, and then after that, we're going to talk about this implosion that we had in the second half that had me stressing out. Okay, because it looked like, and I'm going to get to that in a second. The defense. Okay, the defense. I got to tell you, they looked good. Bobby Wagner had a sack. They were really, really, really stopping the run very well. I know Greg Gaines had a few big hits. Ashawn Robinson, as always. Ernest Jones. Ernest Jones has been playing great, dude. He's been really quiet about it, but he's that linebacker 2 role next to Bobby Wagner. He's been killing it, dude. So I'm very much happy to see Ernest performing well in a very quiet way, and dude, and the players themselves. I'm a little salty at Raheem, dude. I don't really, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm not a defensive coordinator, but I feel like they play a little too soft sometimes. And they kind of just sit on their heels. I really don't like seeing that. I understand that may be part of the game plan, but the type of defense they play allows teams to get back into games, and it is not the way to go if you want to have a chance of repeating. But more on that in a little bit. So wasn't thrilled with Raheem, but was very thrilled with the players. I thought the players played very, very well. Like I was just naming off a few, but in the secondary, dude, Jacoby Durant played so good this game. Our rookie from South Carolina, and I was so proud of him because he came in and he had a few good breakup passes, and then at the end of the half, he actually had that interception from Mariota, and he ran it back like 50 yards, like 30, 40, 50 yards or something, and which set us up for I think it was a field goal, a little bit of a field goal, which, red zone offense I thought was good in spots and terrible in others, but we'll get to that in a second. But Jacoby played so well and very, very happy. So David Long struggled a little bit. I'm not sure if maybe they're going to kind of replace him with Rochelle. I know Rochelle came in a little later. I'm going to have to, I don't really remember, to be honest with you, how, if Rochelle played and for how, I know he was in there. I just don't know how long he was playing. But David Long didn't look too great. But Durant looked really, really good. And if we can get him more involved in the defense, let's do that. Because I've never been one. I don't care if you're a rookie or if you're old, like a veteran. I really don't care. What I care about is if you're producing and if you're making plays and you're making a noticeable difference in helping us win football games. And Jacoby Durant, all right, he helped us win this football game. And I got to say, we really need to implement him more in the defense. I don't care that he's a rookie. He's showing that he has. Sometimes people just can make plays on the field. They're just good football players. So, and Jacoby Durant looks like he's one of those players. So, more of him, please, somehow, some way. Okay, all right, Raheem. Okay, or one of the DB coaches, someone, make it happen. Get him on the field more, because I feel like you want as many players on offense or defense or special teams that makes noticeable differences, makes noticeable plays on the field, You want as many of them as you can get. And Jacoby looks like he's one of those people. So let's work him in somehow, some way. Somehow, some way. Okay, because he's making plays. That's what you want. And they basically shut the Falcons down. And they played very, very well, man. And the first half could not have gone much better for us. But the second half, let's get to the second half. Okay, I don't want this to go on too long. This is just my instant reaction. But, dude. And I swear I thought this. We actually come out of the gate and we score a touchdown. The score is 28-3. 28-3 in the third quarter. And I shit you not. The thought of, hey, we're playing the Falcons. They were up 28-3 in the Super Bowl and they completely choked crossed my mind. I was like, ha 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 ha, they choked. I was actually salty because I wanted them to beat the Patriots. And the fact that they blew that big of a lead just really made me mad because I'm tired of seeing the Patriots win. But, and that was Kyle Shanahan, let's not forget, who was the OC of the Falcons team. And, dude, and I was like laughing about it. But as the game unfolded in the second half, as things were imploding, I was thinking in my mind simply, no way. No way are the Falcons about to pass the 28-3 curse that they have had since losing that Super Bowl, and they have had it. Okay, they have had that stain on their organization since they lost that Super Bowl, and people have been clowning them relentlessly since that Super Bowl. And the one thing I was thinking, are they about to pass that curse on to us? Are they about to pass that curse onto our team, the Rams? And I'm thinking to myself, if we blow this game, I don't even know what I'm going to... And then we start getting clowned for like blowing the 28-3. It's like the announcers even mentioned it at one point in the game. One of them, I forget who they were, but one of them was like, is this redemption? Is this going to be a clean slate? Like, oh my God, Mr. Announcer Man. Yeah, and it was 28-3 too. This is crazy, ain't it? The Falcons, if they come back, they'll rid the demons. I'm paraphrasing, but they said something like that. And I'm thinking, shut up, y'all. Don't pass that on to us. Don't, oh, what did he say? Don't you put that evil on us, all right? Ricky Bobby. All right, don't you put that evil on us. And of course, if one team's going to blow it, it would be the Rams. Because of course it would. Because these kind of things tend to happen to us. And it just seems like it. Okay? Maybe I'm just being an emotional fan, but it really seems like the Rams really like to ram sometimes. And really like just to do things like taking a game which should be an easy blowout win, which was on its way to being an easy blowout win, and go, nah, let's go ahead and make this a nail biter. Let's go ahead and let the Falcons back in the game and just completely implode just to, I don't know, just because we feel like it. Because that's just how things are with the Rams. But so I'm thinking that, okay? I'm thinking that, and I'm just like, please, I'm just thinking, guys, please don't let it happen. Please don't let it happen. Please. Can y'all please not do it? And here's where the criticisms are about to come up. I was very, very positive and praised the Rams for the most part in the first half, which they deserved. Second half, I got a little bit of gripes. I'll start with Sean. Sean, I thought, was played very, very much well. I thought he prepared the team. I thought he was great at play calling in the first half. Everything was running on all cylinders. He was looking good. Everybody was looking good. But the second half, I'm going to put my conspiracy fan hat on, okay, here for y'all. So just bear with me. I was getting a sense that the level of urgency was way down in the second half. And I got to tell you, this has been kind of a running theme with the Rams sometimes. If we get a big lead in a game, we have a tendency, it seems like, to really come out flat. And as a result, have the potential to let the other team get back in the game because we're kind of dragging ass trying to just finish out the game. We don't have that same intensity. And I kind of see it in the coaching staff too, because in the beginning of the game, I'm going to get to why in a second. I don't think it was a question of like laziness on Sean's part. I think it was something else, and I'll explain what that is here in a quick second. But I feel like the intensity wasn't there, and because in the first half you saw all these different kind of plays. You know, they were in the I formation. They had extra linemen on the field. They were running all kinds of different schemes, different plays, different formations. All right. In the second half, not so much. And also, we were a very balanced team. We ran the football and passed it pretty equally in the first half. Second half, I got to tell y'all, really felt like we didn't run the football as much, which is a bit strange because you would think with such a big lead, you would generally want to run the football to run out the clock, essentially, because running the ball makes the time go by a little faster in the games. So that was confusing at first, but here's my little fan conspiracy theory, is the fact that because Sean looked like he was throwing way too much in the beginning of the second half, and my whole thing is, I felt like because we had such a big lead against the Falcons, Sean actually, I feel like, was trying to maybe work on some things that the team on offense struggles with. Okay, it just, I didn't get the vibe that, what I mean by that, I didn't get the vibe that we were like, he was like, okay, now we need to move the ball down here. We need like 5 yards here, 3 yards there, and we need to score a touchdown here right now. Let's go. This real game time shit. The vibe I got from this was, okay, we're up 28-3. We're probably gonna win this game. I kind of wanna, Matthew looked a little off. The throwing did not look great. I really kind of want to work on that a little bit in the second half and use this opportunity as reps because remember, the team hasn't played a lot. Sean doesn't play his starters in the preseason, which I do believe, by the way, is the right decision. I think it's the right decision, but I'm just saying. I think it causes a lot of rust. And I feel like Sean was maybe going, okay, let's work on some plays we aren't that great at because we got money to spend. We got money left on the table. We have a big lead. And I think that was a big thing that caused the comeback by the Falcons. I did not agree with it so much. I wish we could have ran the football a little bit more consistently, But because this is what happens, time goes by slower and it has more times for the Falcons to catch up. And it just wasn't, you could feel the sense of urgency wasn't there in the play calling or what. And the Falcons took advantage and was able to stop us on a few drives. All right. We also had a situation where we're on the 1 yard line and we don't run the ball. Like Sean just throws it 4 times in a row. Incomplete. We have to kick a field goal to make it 31-28 in the fourth quarter. Like when I saw that pretty much confirmed like, okay, Sean is like, this is almost like a scrimmage right now because he feels like we're going to win this game. That's what I feel like was going on. And on defense, you could tell the sense of urgency wasn't there. And so many implosions, dude. You know, they would score, they moved the ball up the field, they scored a few times. Then, you know, the last, like, the fourth quarter was all kinds of craziness, all right? Because you have the Falcons catching up to a manageable deficit, and that's what I'm thinking. Oh, okay, they're getting a little too close. They're getting a little too close, Sean. All right, they're getting a little too close, and ultimately we have to punt because of course we do, because we're not. There's no sense of urgency. We're just kind of testing out these new plays, not really trying to. We don't want to go up and down the field as badly as we did in the first half. Now we have to punt. Fucking Dixon gets obliterated. All right, he gets hit by one of the Falcons, and it's a block punt return for a touchdown. Which brings him to within a score, I think, or two scores. All right. Then after that, Kupp has a uncharacteristic fumble. All right, which gives him the ball back, and they score again. And they even get a 2-point conversion, too, on that punt return for a touchdown. And all of a sudden, it's like, what, like 31-27? So now they're only down by 6. And Lord have, I'm like, I'm sitting there. And God, I don't even remember everything that happens. You know, I'll have to rewatch it or look at the highlights, but it just in a flash, like in a flash, like this big lead we had just completely evaporated. And all I kept thinking was the Rams are gonna blow this and we're gonna be the laughing stock again. Dude. But ultimately, it came down to it. And, you know, the Falcons had the ball. They were driving with like 3 minutes left or something. 31-27. Mariota throws it up. Jalen Ramsey gets the pick. Jalen Ramsey saves us. But here's the thing. The tension really doesn't even end there because he gets the pick. There's like a minute and some change left. But it doesn't really change because we're not able to run out the clock, and we have to punt again, dude. All right, we have to punt again, and there's like 30 seconds left on the clock. And the Rams, I guess Dixon is still really hurt, and we don't have a backup punter. So when we have to punt, dude, you have freaking Brandon Powell back there. You have freaking Brandon Powell back there. And I'm like, well, hello, Brandon. Hello, like, have you been impressing yourself at practice in kicking the football? Like, do you have a skill that you have been keeping secret from us, Brandon, that the fans have not seen since you've been here? Are you able to kick footballs? If you are, in my mind, I'm like, well, that's great. That's pretty awesome. I'm like, okay, let's see Brandon Powell kick the football, because I really didn't think they would go for a fake. I thought that would be very unwise. But what they ultimately decided to do, and this was actually pretty clever, was they snapped it to Brandon Powell, and Brandon Powell essentially runs backwards. All right, runs backwards into the end zone, intentionally shaving up a bunch of seconds, getting as much as he can. And then he steps out of bounds and gives the Falcons 2 points for the safety. Okay? And so they intentionally gave them 2 points. And they did that because I guess they don't have anyone else that can punt the football. Which is crazy. Which I don't, or maybe that's not it, because it gets even crazier, because that was my initial thought, was like, oh, Dixon must be really hurt. But then I think it was actually Dixon who came in and kicked off the ball after that. So he was fine to kick off the ball, but not to punt, which makes me think that maybe they were just afraid to punt the ball, dude, because of what had happened, which is crazy to me. But that's what they did. So there was 6 seconds left. Mariota, I thought he played okay, but was looking. They're like on the 50-yard line. They get like one shot. It's a Hail Mary. Mariota doesn't even get the ball off. He gets sacked, and we fall on top of it. The Rams win the football game. So yay, right? Thank the Lord, dude. That game got so crazy in such a short amount of time. All right. I was feeling so good. I was happy. I was texting some people like, oh man, like we're dominating these fools. This is a good Sunday. Jags dominated the Colts. And now the Rams are about to finish things off. But nope, that's not how things ended up. And the Falcons were really trying to pass the curse off to us. And came pretty damn near close to doing so. And if they would have came back, y'all, if they would have came back and beat us after being down 28-3, if we would have lost after winning 28-3 to the Falcons of all teams, okay, and that curse gets passed on to us, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know how I would have reacted. I really don't. It was quite something to behold. But the Rams went ahead. They got the win. So that was good. But we got the win, and despite the implosion, I enjoyed the game. It was aired on Fox, so that was nice. But I was pleased overall with the team's performance in the first half. I saw noticeable improvements, which is what you want to see as a fan of a team. I thought they performed very, very well. But I just think ultimately what it was is they let the foot off the gas. They let the other team get back in the game. And they found themselves in a position where they were maybe getting a little panicked, and they started making some mistakes, and it all kind of snowballed from there. And the Falcons got right back in the game. And this is not something we can afford to do against the better teams in the league if we are looking to repeat. So, a little concerning there, but I'm not too worried because Sean always has a tendency to correct things, so that's why I'm not too worried. But the number one thing to take away from this is don't lose the killer instinct in the second half. Okay? Just put these teams away, please. All right? No more of this wild fourth quarter finishes. It's a lot to take in. So, but otherwise, that's gonna be it for now. Overall, I was pleased with the performance. We're 1-1. We got our first victory. So that's good. That's good, man. That was tiring. But Rams did good. 31-27. Lots to talk about later in the week. But as of right now, that's gonna be it for now. I'll catch you guys on the next one. And as always, 1-1, baby, 1-1. Go Rams.